want to make it clear that the issue is not people moving here. People have always moved here. This is a city of immigrants, right? My family has been here for 3 or 4 generations. We moved here from Central America. Like, everybody here is from all over the world, which is what makes it the culture what it is. The problem now with this new set of people, first of all, they're coming from other places in America, and we know how the rest of America already gets down, right? But a lot of them are coming from places where the culture is just not coherent and compatible with New York City culture, and they're coming here and acting as if that's going to be the culture here, and it's up the vibes, to be quite frank. Like I said, I be in Bushwick hanging around, so I've met a lot of these people, I've befriended a lot of these people, I've dated a lot of these people, and they just have no interest in contributing to the community aside from the community that they're building, which is not the culture of New York City. And then they act like we're weird for adhering to the culture that was already here.
Hey guys, it's your girl Brandy, aka Brandy4. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I do lots of videos on pop culture, reality TV, entertainment, anything. So if you like any of those things, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Today, I actually wanted to talk about something that has been affecting me directly. Not necessarily pop culture, but just in general. I live in a big city, New York City to be exact, and I don't know, I just feel like there has been a slight difference. I'm comparing this to when I was growing up in New York, going to high school in the city versus now. Just the vibes are off. I don't know if you've been seeing TikToks lately of people claiming that New York influencers are just not exciting, not cool, not interesting. Everybody kind of just dresses the same, does the same thing where they go to Pilates, buy matcha, go home, repeat. Though I've been feeling that same sentiment, I have been seeing that there has been this shift in New York culture. Yeah, you're not really seeing people exemplify how they truly are through their fashion, which New York is known for. When you go to New York, you're kind of like, oh, this is the place where you can experiment with your fashion. You don't want to necessarily be like everyone else because, quite frankly, people don't, or native New Yorkers, anyways, we don't typically judge unless you're wearing something like really crazy, like out of pocket type. But we are very open to everyone's fashion here, and everyone feels open to exploring and doing their own thing in that way. I saw that TikTok of this one influencer claiming that New York is kind of boring, or the influencers are kind of boring. I was pretty shocked. I'm lying. I wasn't that shocked. I've actually noticed this trend in which people moving to New York aren't necessarily being themselves. They're kind of just following the crowd. And you're mainly seeing this from New York transplants. You're not really seeing this from native New Yorkers. And this is what's concerning me. It's as if people don't have a mind of their own these days. People are kind of just following the crowd, and it's grinding my gears. I'm not gonna hold you.
So there's a girl going viral on here because she said that all of the New York City influencers are all unoriginal and they're boring and she just doesn't like them and stuff. And people have been tagging other creators from New York as like recommendations. My name came up a few times. Thank you all for that. But I do want to give my little 2 cents. I don't think that the word influencer and New York City even belong in the same sentence. Because when I think of an influencer, I think of like a very heavily constructed personality, almost kind of fake, like they all talk like this and, and trying to sell you shit. That's not what New York is. The best New York City content creators are just regular, everyday people who, for whatever reason, decided to post videos. There's a guy that I follow on here. He works for MTA. He's a bus driver. And he just basically tells you whatever happened on the bus that day, and it's always hilarious. I follow people who complain about their noisy upstairs neighbors. I follow people who complain about the price of curry goat at the Jamaican spot because it didn't always cost that much. Those are the types of people I like to watch. If you looking for Carrie Bradshaw, the influencer, or you want your FYP to look like Sex in the City, then yeah, you may not enjoy what you see because none of that is real. But yeah, if all the New York City influencers you follow are all boring and just carbon copies of each other, maybe you should move your FYP out of the East Village in Williamsburg. Drop that FYP down in Brownsville.
As someone who's lived here all their life, I am seeing the drastic shift in New York culture. Not only is rent just increasing day by day, groceries are increasing day by day, MTA fares increasing day by day, your favorite bars are closing down, neighbors are complaining about the noise coming from the bars when they moved close to a bar or to a area that has multiple bars. That I will never understand. New York is known for, people moving here who aren't necessarily born here. Like, obviously, I was raised by immigrants. I was raised by my mom who was born in Jamaica. So yeah, I am not upset that other people who aren't from here are moving here or are living here. That's fine. It's one thing to move here because you want to be a part of the culture and you appreciate the culture. It's another thing when you move here and then you complain about the culture, then you try to change the culture.
Every time I come to New York, I'm reminded of one thing. Why are there so many men just lurking? Just standing outside of their homes?
Hey guys, you guys, I was in New York City and saw brown men hanging out in their neighborhoods. I never saw this on Sex and the City. Is it normal?
Do the exact same thing that you did in your small town when you could have just stayed there. And then on top of that, you're deciding that you want to live a Sex and the City lifestyle when really that's not the case for majority of New Yorkers. And because of that, you're paying for apartment complexes that are like super expensive, more expensive than the average apartment should be. And because you are paying for these complexes, now all the landlords are increasing the rent, and now us native New Yorkers are being pushed out every day. Yes, sorry, I am complaining because it's annoying.
I just don't understand why they're building all of these new luxury buildings in the Bronx, because who the in their right mind is coming to the South Bronx at that to pay $3,000 and $4,000 in rent? Oh no. And what's crazy is most of them are empty. There have been buildings that have been up for like 2 and 3 years. Nobody has moved in them because they're too expensive. And then when you look inside the bedrooms, mad small.
It's funny, this is not even just a thing that has happened like the past year or so. Like, this has been happening. And honestly, I don't know if COVID is to blame. I do think there was a large shift since COVID because and it's so unfortunate because I didn't get to experience like New York as an adult fully. I was only a legal adult for a year. Like, I graduated college in 2019, and then yeah, I was working full time in the city, and that was when I was outside so much. And it's so interesting thinking about how different things are now and just the way I go about life in New York City now, because before it was kind of just like, okay, I was living in West Bumble, traveling all the way to the city, and then afterwards I would go to dinner with a friend, and then afterwards I would travel all the way to Harlem, and then afterwards I would travel back to Queens. Like, I was outside, I was living life. I don't know if that was necessarily because I was younger, but I think it's because things were just so much different. That was kind of just the culture of living in New York. You're just always on the go, and it didn't necessarily matter how long you were commuting for. It was just kind of something you got used to and you were used to. And then I think once COVID hit, everything shifted in that sense. Like, no one, or I'm going to speak for myself, I didn't necessarily feel like traveling more. To this day, I don't feel like traveling more than an hour on the train these days. If it's not in Brooklyn, I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely not. You're not seeing me, which is really sad. Things are just not the same to the point where I don't feel like it's worth me traveling over an hour to go somewhere just for it to potentially close early, or for it to, potentially just not be that great of a move. People not necessarily speaking to one another, people on their phones, people, just like, yeah, just not being involved, an active part of the community. And that brings me to my next point. I feel like there is definitely a lack of community. I think a lot of people have been speaking about this, how, there are lack of third spaces or places. It's third spaces or places. Anyways, but yes, lack of that. And then when you do have a space, no one converses, no one tries to have fun, no one lives in the moment. Everyone's kind of just on their phone. Even just thinking about nightlife culture, you're not really seeing people dance anymore at parties. Even Caribbean parties, you're not even seeing people dance. Nobody trying to cop a wine anymore. Nothing. Nothing. Everyone's just scared to be themselves, to just be authentic. And I don't know if this is fully because of social media, but I know damn well it's a part of it because people are kind of scared that someone's going to record them, post it on TikTok, then they're going to go viral just for being themselves. It's actually really sad. No one knows how to live in the moment. Or it's the case where just are there to simply post to say that they're doing something. And then once they, take their content, that's it. Like that's all the fun that they had. And then they're not in the moment. They're not present in the moment. And I mean, I've definitely experienced that when going out with other people, specifically transplants. So it's actually just unfortunate how things are changing in New York, but I wonder if this is just a universal thing. I don't know if people are seeing this in their cities in which people are moving. They're seeing gentrifiers move into their city and then try to change it versus trying to appreciate it and, you know, take in the culture that they claimed that they wanted to be a part of. That's what I don't understand. People come to New York City expecting to live like Carrie Bradshaw, and that's just not the case. Like Carrie Bradshaw, the difference is Carrie Bradshaw actually wanted to live in New York for the rest of her life. A lot of y'all are kind of just here for the vibes, just here just to test it out, and then y'all move back. And then the native New Yorkers are here trying to pick up the pieces and trying to afford $4,000 rent for one bedroom apartments. Like, and this is not me as a New Yorker trying to hate on non-New York native New Yorkers. Like, I don't care either way. But if you're trying to change where I'm coming from, my culture, if I'm seeing that my favorite restaurants and my favorite bars are closing down because of y'all and y'all deciding to move to a neighborhood that is known for bars and then complaining about the bars having loud music at nighttime, yeah, I'm gonna be irritated. Not gonna lie. There was a recent bar that had opened in Bed-Stuy, I believe, and I did see a TikTok where there was one girl claiming like it was like a spicy white, and then her white friends, they went to this bar, and then she was basically feeling a type of way that a guy came up to her and her friends kind of saying, "Oh, what are you guys doing here?" Not like it sounded like it was kind of in a joking way, but it's kind of like, "Oh, y'all about to gentrify this place?" And she was offended by that, which I understand why she was offended by that. However, you also have to think about like what he's seen in go on in his neighborhood. And quite frankly, this is what's going on in our neighborhoods. Places that are our third spaces are now either being shut down or being, taken over by transplants and then turned into something that does not exemplify New York culture. And then where does that leave us? That leaves us like looking for the cramped bars, the bars with no space, or we have to travel outside of our neighborhood, which is inconvenient for everyone. And yeah, it's just not good. It's not it. And this has truly been bothering me. I can't say that I have a specific place that I can just go and chill with a friend because all of my spots are being closed and shut down or taken over by the gentrifiers. It's actually a joke. I don't know if there's a point in this conversation or this video, but I kind of just wanted to voice my frustrations. But mainly, if you are thinking about moving to New York or to a big city, I want you to about why you're moving there. I want you to really think about why you're moving there, and I want you, if you are or do end up moving there, appreciate the city for what it is. Don't try to change it. That's as if like you're saying, okay, you basically want this city to be the same as the city that you decided to move out from. New York is turning bland and I hate it. I don't like it. I don't like a bland New York. I want people to dress how they choose. I want people to express themselves how they choose. I want people to have the community that they are searching for here. I don't want people to feel out of place in New York. Really? New York is the most accepting place. There is no reason why I should be seeing frat boys come move to New York just to be racist. Like, I'm sorry. There's no reason why we should be dealing with any of that. Long story short, stop messing with New York culture. Stop messing with other cities' culture. Appreciate it for what it is. And yeah, let me know your thoughts below. And yeah, I definitely will be posting more. I'm really trying to, guys. I'm so sorry. I've really just been MIA because I am just always overthinking what content I actually want to put out on this channel. But even doing things like this, just talking about like what I am experiencing during my day to day, I do want to do that more. So please bear with me, and I apologize for like leaving y'all astray, but I promise I'll be back real soon. But yeah, if you like this video, please make sure you like it, subscribe to my channel, and yeah, I'll be posting more, especially considering Love Island's coming back on real soon. So yeah, bye.